can trust really be rebuilt after betrayal? That's the question couples everywhere are wrestling with. When betrayal happens, whether it's lies, broken promises, or even infidelity, it feels like the very ground beneath your marriage has crumbled. The safety is gone. The doubt is loud, and you wonder if things will ever be the same. But here's the hope: trust can be rebuilt. Not overnight and not with empty words, but with small, consistent actions that bring safety back one step at a time. Today, we're going to talk about how that rebuilding process really works. I'll walk you through the exact stages, share how Simone and Caleb navigated broken trust, and give you practical tools you can start using today. So, if you've ever asked yourself, is healing even possible after betrayal? This conversation is for you. Welcome back, uplifting life partners, to the Simplified Uplifters Marriage Mastery Podcast. This is our Marriage Builder Sunday segment, where we focus on giving you practical tools to build, repair, and strengthen the foundation of your relationship. Our goal? To help you create a marriage that feels stronger, more joyful, and more resilient. I'm your host, Ron Simplified Myers, and together, let's ignite possibilities for your marriage. We'll begin today's conversation by understanding betrayal. We started this topic on Wednesday, so you didn't get a chance to listen to it. I'm going to recommend it. First, understand that betrayal isn't always cheating. It can be secrecy, broken promises, or emotional withdrawal. The impact on the betrayed partner feels like the ground has been pulled out, safety gone. The impact on the betraying partner, guilt, shame, fear of permanent damage. Let's bring Simone and Caleb into our conversation. Caleb hid financial stress and debt. Simone found out by accident. She felt blindsided. If you lied about this, what else aren't you telling me? Caleb minimized it at first, making it worse. Over time, they realized betrayal was less about money and more about broken trust. Why does breaking trust go so deep? Because trust is the foundation of intimacy. Trust is the invisible glue that holds intimacy together. When you trust your partner, you can exhale. You share your fears, your dreams, your mistakes, knowing they'll be met with care, not judgment. That's what allows real closeness to exist. But when trust is broken through betrayal, lies, secrecy, or even emotional neglect, it's like pulling the rug out from under the entire relationship. Suddenly, what used to feel safe now feels dangerous. What used to be effortless now feels like walking on eggshells. We must realize that when trust shatters, the relationship doesn't just lose safety, it loses its home base. And without that base, love feels like it's trying to grow in thin air. Another reason why trust being broken goes so deep is because of the emotional climate created after the betrayal. The atmosphere of the relationship changes. The betrayed partner often becomes constantly guarded, constantly scanning for clues, inconsistencies, or warning signs. It's not paranoia, it's protection. You'll see doubt replacing ease, distance replacing closeness, and fear of recurrence replacing joy. The betrayed spouse may start asking more questions, checking details, or withdrawing emotionally. Meanwhile, the partner who broke trust often feels defensive or ashamed, saying things like, "I said I'm sorry. Why can't you just move on?" But healing trust isn't about one apology. It's about consistency, honesty, and emotional transparency over time. Simone discovered that Caleb had been secretly messaging a coworker. Nothing physical happened, but the emotional closeness felt like a punch to her gut. For her, the betrayal wasn't just the messages, it was realizing there was a side of him she didn't know existed. Every time Caleb picked up his phone afterward, Simone's stomach tightened. She'd think, is it happening again? Even innocent things like him stepping outside to take a call triggered anxiety. Caleb felt frustrated, saying, "You keep bringing it up. How can we move forward if you won't let it go?" But what Caleb didn't realize was that his impatience was making Simone feel even less safe. What she needed wasn't perfection, it was patience. Each consistent, honest moment, each time he chose openness over defensiveness, was a small brick in rebuilding their foundation. It's reflection time. Think back. When was the last time you questioned your partner's honesty? It doesn't have to be about betrayal. It could be about something small, like them minimizing how they feel or hiding a mistake. How did that moment change the way you felt in their presence? Did you feel closer, or did a wall quietly start to rise? With that, let's move to what we are all listening for. The 4 stages of rebuilding trust: transparency, consistency, accountability, renewal. When betrayal happens, couples often want to jump to forgiveness, hoping things will just go back to normal. But rebuilding trust isn't an event. It's a process. You can't skip steps. Each stage lays the foundation for the next. 1. Transparency, the power of truth. Once it's in the open. After betrayal, secrecy is like poison. Transparency is the antidote. It means being open about the details that restore safety. Where you've been, who you talked to, what you're doing, until trust feels secure again. When Caleb broke Simone's trust by hiding messages with a coworker, his first instinct was to say, "I told you everything already." But for Simone, that wasn't enough. So he began leaving his phone on the counter, not locked away. If she asked a question, he answered without getting defensive. He shared his schedule and initiated conversations about how she was feeling. That transparency didn't erase the past, but it created new evidence that he was safe to trust again. Transparency isn't about control. It's about rebuilding confidence where secrecy once lived. 2. Consistency, the bridge between words and actions. Once honesty is on the table, it's consistency that proves change is real. This means showing up the same way, over and over, not perfectly, but predictably. Caleb started texting Simone during his breaks just to say, "Thinking of you," or "Still at work. See you soon." It seems small, but over time, those consistent check-ins rebuilt predictability. Simone said, "For the first time in months, I didn't feel like I had to check where he was. I just knew." Reflection. Question. When trust was broken in your relationship, did your partner's words heal you, or their patterns? It takes consistency to allow trust to breathe again. 3. Accountability, taking responsibility without excuses. True repair requires accountability. This means the person who broke trust must be willing to own the pain they caused without minimizing it, deflecting, or defending. One night, Simone said, "It still hurts when I remember those messages." Caleb replied, "I understand. I broke something sacred between us. I can't change the past, but I can keep showing you I'm safe now." He didn't argue, justify, or rush her forgiveness. That accountability created emotional safety because she saw he was carrying the weight with her, not trying to push it away. Accountability says, "I see your pain and I'm not running from it." 4th, renewal, rebuilding the emotional bond. This stage is where the couple begins to create new memories that override the old story. It's not about forgetting the betrayal. It's about writing a new narrative of connection, safety, and honesty. Months later, Simone and Caleb started a Sunday ritual, breakfast, at a local cafe. They'd talk openly about wins, fears, and plans for the week. Over time, this ritual became symbolic, a reminder that what was once broken could be rebuilt through steady care. Renewal happens when the pain that once divided you becomes the place you grow from together. So let's take a moment to reflect. Which stage are you and your partner in right now? Transparency, consistency, accountability, or renewal? Are there small actions you could take this week to move one step forward? Notice, even when couples commit to rebuilding trust, the journey isn't straightforward. Some days will feel hopeful, others will sting with reminders of what happened. Here's how to navigate the most common roadblocks with grace and consistency. 1. Impatience. The betraying partner wants instant forgiveness. Healing after betrayal doesn't follow a clock. It follows emotional readiness. The betrayed partner sets the pace. When pressure for forgiveness replaces patience, it can re-injure the very wound you're trying to heal. Caleb had apologized repeatedly for his emotional dishonesty early in the marriage. After a few weeks of effort, he asked Simone, "When will you trust me again?" Simone froze. She wanted to move forward, but his need for reassurance made her feel rushed and unseen. So Caleb shifted. Instead of asking for forgiveness, he began saying, "Take all the time you need. I'm here to keep showing you who I am now." That one sentence rebuilt safety faster than any apology ever could. Key moment. Forgiveness isn't earned through speed, it's earned through consistency. 2. Triggers. When small things reopen big wounds. Triggers aren't proof of failure, they're proof that healing is still active. The goal isn't to erase them, it's to respond differently when they appear. A few months after betrayal, Simone panicked when Caleb came home late from work without a text. Her chest tightened. Her thoughts spiraled. Instead of arguing when she confronted him, Caleb calmly said, "I understand why this scared you. From now on, I'll text when I leave." Over time, that small act of reassurance rewired her brain from fear to safety. Here's a tip to practice. When a trigger hits, pause, name it, breathe, and share it before it festers. "I felt scared when" opens the door for repair. "You always" closes it. 3. Relapse into old patterns. After a few weeks of progress, couples often slip into old habits, defensiveness, half-truths, avoidance. But honesty must remain non-negotiable. One hidden message or withheld truth can undo months of rebuilding. Caleb told a small white lie about staying late at work to avoid an argument. Simone found out later, and though the situation itself was harmless, the secrecy cut deep. They revisited their commitment. Transparency over comfort. From that point forward, even uncomfortable truths became their shared standard. Trust grows in sunlight. Lies shrink it back into the dark. Let me share a few reflection questions. Which of these roadblocks do you see in your own marriage? Impatience, triggers, or old patterns? What would sunlight look like in your relationship this week? More communication, small check-ins, or honest conversations about fears? I want to offer a few more reflection questions and a couple exercises that I would like you and your partner to commit to tonight. Reflection questions. Where do I still feel unsafe in our marriage? What consistent action from my spouse would help me heal? Where can I take accountability, not just apology? The couple exercise is for you to take about 10 minutes tonight and complete this exercise. Each partner writes 2 specific actions that would help them feel safe. Agree on one to start this week. Okay, today, we uncovered how betrayal breaks trust, but rebuilding is possible through transparency, consistency, and accountability. But don't stop here. The next podcast episode you'll want to listen to is Rebuilding Trust Starts With You, How to Heal After Betrayal, which was Wednesday's episode if you haven't already, where we'll dive into how healing starts with forgiving yourself first. Link is in the bio. Check it out now and keep the breakthroughs going. And for deeper tools, Simplified Uplifters app, and our inspirational apparel, check the links in the bio or visit simplifieduplifters.net. Remember, nurture your soul, protect your energy, be kind to yourself, and build the marriage of your dreams. Most importantly, you are extraordinary. Now go to the next podcast episode and let's keep building together.